played in terms of the surface of the pitch, but also the heat and humidity. And I would like also to remember, because sometimes after the team makes a good result, there's the clear impression that the opponent is weak, and we should respect, because this team is the champion of Nigeria. There's has nothing that on that team of weakness. There's a way of playing that is very clear, and it's quite difficult to beat. I remember that for 50 matches, that team had not lost on that pitch. So our challenge was exactly that. We put it ourselves the challenge to try to win the match over there, trying to state ourselves not only on the qualifying round, but mostly internationally as an achievement. And there was a record to be broken there, so we did it. But we expect a very, very tough match also again, in a team that has a special and particular way to play, with a lot of man-to-man marking throughout all the pitch, very aggressive, very high position on the pitch. Um, let's hope we have a quality pitch tomorrow in Loft, tomorrow after on Sunday on Loft, so that we can play good football. Because playing good football approaches us from winning, so that's the intention, that the team has to win the second match.
Okay, we'll take questions from the floor. Please do identify yourself. Any question? Any takers?
Coach Benjamin Nyirenda, Eswatini Daily News. Oh, sorry, Coach Coach Benjamin Nyirenda, Eswatini Daily News. Just an update on injuries. How is the team looking going into this game?
Well, it's obviously an interesting point. We have, unfortunately, some more severe questions, like Motovi Mbala, that was surgered last week. Even in the locker room after the match, we spoke a lot about that, and I dedicated, I asked, not after, it was before the match, that I said that we should make a good job and take the spirit of Motovi inside the pitch. And I think the team took it. We wanted to honor him with a good match. So it's the most difficult situation we have in hands in terms of long-term recovery time needed for sure for him to come back. And then the other issues we have are smaller. We have Zuko already training normal with the team. We have Mali that got a small injury on the ankle, as you saw. He was substituted. It's not a huge thing. There's nothing broken on. We were a little bit afraid that might be some bone question, but that isn't. So he will come back in proper time. Then we have Temba also on his, let's say, recovery process. It's not something that will be finished in 1 week, but also we don't expect it to take long. But we need to be careful. He's a very important asset, and like everybody, it's also a question of human being. We need to bring him up in the best conditions for him to be available for us. Um, and basically that's and then there's the question on Ikram Rainers. As you know, Ikram Rainers came from the national teams. Thank God, and his biology and physiology, we were able to see that, and to the effort of the doctors and the exams he did, there's no issue in terms of cardiac question that will take him out of his career, because in this kind of situation everybody stays afraid. No, no, thank God, no. It's a minor thing that we need also to give him some time. He's now starting to train with the team, so he was 2 weeks absolutely without training. But he started yesterday, and today he trained already integrated in the team, and he made all the training sessions. So we should expect him to now get on his condition and be available again for the team. And I think that I'm not forgetting anyone.
Thank you, coach.
My name is Mazola Malefe from SABC Sport. My question is to Grant. Grant, obviously you recently just came back from an injury, but the coach had emphasized during that time while you were out that the team was a little bit in transition because the grounds were a bit up and down. You obviously had a perspective from watching outside, and when you came in, there's a school of thought, the two sides that people saying either Remo Stars were not at their best that others will say Sundowns were just too good. But from your perspective, how has the team sort of gelled up again? Because to beat two-time Nigerian champions 5-1 and almost seal the tie makes a big statement. But obviously, as I said, there are some people that might say they were too good or they were not on their best or on their day.
Yeah. Afternoon, members of the media. Yeah, I think as Mamelodi Sundowns, we didn't have the best start to the season. Because we obviously set high standards for ourselves. But I think with the players that have come in now, they've sort of adjusted well to, what is required from them and what's required from us as Sundowns. And going into the Remo game, I think they're a good team, very aggressive. They were man marking us the whole game. They made it quite difficult. But we went in there with the right attitude, right mentality, and we played for one another. And obviously, in the end, our quality came out, and that's how we were able to get a positive result.
Thank you. Lorenz?
Question for Bob, just because obviously had a good spell for your career where you at the end of the season you were in the national team, you were part of the squad that won bronze medal. But your career is now all like your performances, to say injuries and things that fluctuated a little bit. Would you say now at the age of 32, you're now in the peak of your career and looking to get back to where you were at that level where you won at the end of the season, contribute for the club and for the national team, potentially in AFCON and all that?
Lorenz, the mic to the front. Thank you.
Yeah, I think and then that's how football goes. It's a game of seasons. But every day, I put it upon myself to come and do my best. There'll be occasions where it's maybe not up to scratch, but we're a team, we're a unit, we're full of brothers. When one is down, I can count on the others to pick me up. And I think my job is just to work as hard as I can, knowing that I have the full support of my team, the coaches, to get back to the level that's expected of me. And that's what I'm working towards.
Any other?
Coach Kotatsu from Mobile Radio. Coach, you've had a bit of an extended break, so to say, with the international break, and also you didn't have a game like other teams had, like yesterday perhaps. Has this been, would you say that this is now, like Sundowns has reached the point where fatigue and not having much of a preseason, those statements are now like something that can be said, and we're going to see the best of what your team can do?
It's interesting because you are always asking, not you personally, in general, always asking where is the best, when is the best, when is the best. It seems that it's never enough. It's very interesting to take a look on that. I don't see people charging no one else such a way. It's because we win 5 is not enough because the guys are weak. It's when it's never enough. It's never enough. It seems that there's really a high standard towards us. But it's good. It means that people believe in what we do. It means that we, in the past, more long time ago and recently also, we put the standards very high, and people got expectations that life is always on the hype. But if people look inside their houses, their jobs, their careers, what they do in general, they also see that on themselves is not always on the hype. Teams are rebuilt and built and reorganized and taken from the point where they were towards the future regarding conditions. They have to do it. And we had a very, very tough period after the Club World Cup. I think that if you look internationally and you take a look on some of the teams, you see how they are struggling also towards this period of the season. What you should expect is that the work of people here is very serious, very strong, very committed. And that's the way how we see the development of this team. But I expect the team to grow in medium term, not exactly automatically after 2 or 3 days. As you understood, We just had the players that enter the team and that immediately will be out. For example, Miguel will not be able to play 2 matches in a row in the championship. Debo, was put strangely out of this match with Pirates, for example, with a red card, a fourth yellow card on the last minute of the match, was quite surprising to see that happen. So the team will always be reorganizing itself. And the comfort we have is that the players work very hard to be on the level of substituting each other. We just heard from Grant what he stated here, and I totally support. Grant was a player that played the matches in the Club World Cup, where probably, I said that, and I don't get tired to repeat, where South Africa saw probably the best football ever on its history. And he was playing first 11, so it's absolutely normal that he feels that he can play on the national team. But that is regarding Grant, but also regarding other players that try to raise the level. We see Keanu in the way that he's playing, and I don't see him worse as compared to any central back in South Africa in the moment. And Mali was just there also. So it's regarding these values of commitment, of being together, of growing together, that the team will develop. Where it will be the best or not the best has to do obviously with the commitment we have towards the objectives in terms of behaviors in the pitch. But fluctuations in performance will always happen. What we have to do is get the results one after the other, and that's the focus the team has, starting from Sunday again and repeat a victory. That is an important one, of course.
Hello, Coach. Hello, Grant. Asha Communication. It's interesting, Coach, you talk about the Club World Cup. This weekend will be 4 months since you played in England at that level, and now you're going to play Remo Stars, a team that clearly you were ahead of over the weekend. Where does that lie in terms of the experience you got from the Club World Cup towards the journey that you want to win the CAF Champions League? And probably the perfect way to celebrate 10 years since Sundowns won the first one.
Yeah, very, very interesting question and point that makes us all together reflect and then analyze the things. Obviously, that 4 months after being in such standard where we were, despite we didn't go through the group stage and how we were penalized by that, we sit in a position where we feel that the expectations are always very high, and that sometimes even when you achieve things, it seems that is not enough. I repeat it again. I remember that last year we had the sensation when we didn't win the Champions League final. We had the sensation that it was like the end of the world, because we were so considered unsuccessful in a moment where exactly we should have been at least taking in consideration that we went on a final and we played the final. It seems like we were even more penalized by losing the final rather than if we had been taken out in the semi-final with Ahli. But that is the dimension of Mamelodi Sundowns, and we need to be on the level of that dimension. We know that the expectations regarding ourselves and our job are very high, and our commitment in terms of motivation on trying to deliver quality work to the players so that they get the stimulus that also raise their level as football players and as a team can be obviously the highest possible. But the experience from the World Cup, and going directly on your question, the spirit of the World Cup should be put it on everyday life as a standard, and that's a standard that should be put it inside the club, toward and every department, and also on ourselves as coaches and players. And we take it all together with that responsibility. We want to be again on the next Club World Cup. We want to be again disputing finals of continent competitions. And for that, we need to respect every and each opponent very strongly. Yesterday, I was collecting some images to show to the players tomorrow in order to discuss the game we played and how we did it and why we had the possibility to score such goals and to have that performance. And one of the things that was so beautiful to see is that after, and I invite you to go back and take a look on those images, after every goal scored, the ball was put it on the center, was started to be played by Remo Stars, and our players ran so much immediately to press the ball. So that's that happiness and commitment that Grant stated that we need to bring, and that comes from experiences that we lived, from the fact that we were in highest points. And we just hope that we can keep that stability of behaviors, of desire, of passion, of will, of commitment, knowing that always in the other side there will be teams that have quality. They try to prepare the match as best as possible, and in some moments they will create us problems that we have to deal with. Let's hope we can deal with them in the best way possible and still achieve results.
We'll take the last three questions.
Okay, Master from Power FM. Coach, this is a bit of a follow-up to your previous answer. I mean, you mentioned Keanu Kifido, you've got Grant, you've got Mali, all of them have been in the Bafana team. You've got Jaden, Atusi, almost the same. The whole team has been in Bafana, and I would think that in a AFCON and a World Cup year, all of them will go there. How do you balance and juggle? Because obviously they've got personal ambitions of playing for Sundowns to go to the World Cup. How do you then deal with those aspirations against how you get to build that synergy in the team? And then to grant the Champions League has been, I mean, for this current group, has been a bit of a sore topic for you guys, the way you have been eliminated in the past semi-finals. Nobody forgets the Mbala situation. Then last year as well. Emotionally, as a players, emotionally, how do you approach it this time around? Good squad, you start well with Remo Stars, but there's this goals that keep on coming, so to speak.
Yeah, obviously, the Champions League has been a bit of an Achilles heel for us, considering that usually we do so well to get to a particular stage, and then when we're supposed to, take it to the max, we sort of fall short. But I don't think we're discouraged. I think it's just building even more character within the group, knowing that we are capable of reaching that stage. Now it's just about us going the whole way, So I think the desire is still there, the hunger is still there. As a team, I think it's the one trophy that we so much want, especially this group, considering, how well we've done in the league. And I think the Champions League is what's short in this group. So I think going into this season, we'll obviously analyze the mistakes and how we fell short, so that if we do reach that stage, we're able to do better than we did in the previous seasons.
It's interesting because as we understand from your question, you also take it as a failure last year because you compare the situation of this. Now let me finish. You said that the year before you stayed on the semi-final and this last season as well. That's where your words. What I mean is there's a conception that a team that reaches a final of Champions League and is not able to win it fails. And myself, I have another perspective. We succeeded to go to the final, but we didn't reach ultimately the best desire that we had, that was to win. And that's why we probably deal with emotions that we don't get over. It's because everybody had so much expectations, and I understand, and it starts from ourselves, but we should never allow that to make us smaller than we really are, and not praise the fact that we also put out on the semi-final and on the force of the finals the two first qualified classifieds on the first and second position of the CAF ranking. And that's how I sometimes see the things. We have sometimes you look at the empty side of the bottle, sometimes you look the full side of the bottle. And I always like to look at both so that I don't lose the ambition for the future. What we want to feel it completely. But I also don't look only the empty part. No, myself, how I see the things. And by looking both sides allows me to really state myself towards the ambitions that we have. Because if I look just one part, I will be not ambitious enough to continue fighting for the ultimate challenge. And if I just look to the what we have to, or if I put myself under emotions that are too negative, I also will not get the right positioning as a coach to keep giving energy to my players towards the objectives that we have ahead. And I always try to give to myself the best comfort possible so that I don't lose any kind of focus on my job. And I'm the first one to create a dynamic of growth and demand on the players and on the team so that we can be stronger. Um, Regarding your question, that is absolutely beautiful question and point regarding how to keep players that were already on Bafana that now are not, how to deal with them. And it is brings me to the first talk I had with the team when we gathered all the group after the players came from the international matches. And my speech was congratulations to all of you, the ones that were on this call up, the ones that were also on the previous ones that made part of this campaign. But guys, it's time to put more people there. And to put more people there, we need to perform as a club, as a team, very well. We need to produce results. We need to play good football so that then the coach trusts or keeps trusting the players that he already took there. Obviously, that in a club like us that has such so many demands regarding all the competitions and the level of football we need to play, we need to have a group that has more than one player in the highest level for each position. And it's so difficult for us when you have Obre Modiva playing first 11, how you can then put at the same level Fawaz, that is competing for the same positioning in the national team. It will be always tricky for that. It will be always tricky. But should any of them give up on the fight for the position? No, they have to fight between themselves. And how we do that? By trying to be very accurate on evaluating training sessions. Because we don't put names to play, we put performance to play. If one trains better than the other, he will play. If he's not training better than the other, he will not play because he's a Bafana or he's now being first 11. He will not. We'll take him out and put the other one. Because if I put the best ones on the moment, the team will be stronger. And that's how we do. But obviously the ambition of the players is to keep performing and show performance and every opportunity turn their lives around because sometimes it's like that. Mali was playing, Grant was out, Mali got injured, started to play, and most probably he'll play next match in the position. And from there is Mali now that will have to fight against his performances on training sessions and on matches to regain his position. Because the level is so that I have to be respectful to the players towards their own performances. And there's really a worry that we have as coaches is every training session, sit together and say, how was this, how was that player, how you think this, how you think that, when we can give an opportunity for them to express on the matches. And I think that compared to the past, if you take a look on this match that we played in Remo Stars, so in Nigeria, the big difference that the coach had was the bench that he could use. Because I don't know if you remember, but for example, when we played away in Stellenbosch, I had only Ikram Reyners as an attacking player on the bench. And now the team is more complete, the group is more complete. We have the boys that came from the under 20 World Cup. We have Miguel and Nuno that came from recruitment. We have Tsiki already in a good position regarding his development. So we get more options, more competition. The level on training sessions raises a lot. So the team has to, regarding that, also to give answers. And I think that keeping pace in the front, keeping capacity to aggress the opponents, having variability also in the way you challenge the opponents is very important for us. And that brings us obviously to have expectations towards the development of the team in the future. Because it's like that, and in recent past it was we struggled a lot regarding those positions. So it's just where we stand.
We'll take the last question. Oh, sorry, it's you then, sorry.
Good afternoon. Grant, Sequoia coming up from the NCA. Grant, you head into this clash with a big advantage. How do you maintain focus and momentum despite the scoreline?
I think for us, we know we can't get ahead of ourselves. We haven't qualified for the group stages yet. The coach has emphasized when we got back on the fact that, especially last season, we would come off good victories, and then the next game we would sort of disappoint and not hit the mark. So it's just about us understanding what we did that side and knowing that we have to finish it off this side because it's only half time. There's another game to be played, so I think we just need to stick to our guns and make sure that we give a even better performance than we did away at Remo Stars.
Good afternoon, Coach. Good afternoon, Grant, Neopo, Soccer Beat. Coach, one of the positives that have came up during this week, the club is also now nominated for the Club of the Year at the 2025 CAF Awards. Just a reaction on that, but also to Grant as well. Ronaldo is also now nominated once again for the Goalkeeper of the Year award. Having seen him, having played with him, and seen him succeed like this, just what your take on this nomination again from players' perspective and team's perspective?
You want to speak about Rowan, and then I take the club question.
Yeah, I think I'm happy. I'm so proud of him because I think we started about the same time at SuperSport. We also played together against each other at development level. And for him to reach the level that he has on such a consistent basis, it's no fluke. I think everyone could see it from a young age. He's just got that presence about him. He's always working hard, always willing to learn, always willing to help the next person. And he's representing himself well, but also the club and his family. And all we can do is just cheer him on and wish him the best. And we hope that he can come back with the award.
I totally share the position of Grant. For me, as a coach, and I spoke about Rowan, I think after the match in Nigeria, um, I never get tired of speaking about the players that have commitment with their own job, commitment with the team and the club. And it's not only obviously it's Rowan is an example, but players like Tepsa, like Grant, like even Musa, like Motobi, like so I'm speaking about the older players, let's say, or the players that are in the club for longer. At Morena, Mudau, Aubrey, these players also share the values of the club with the other teammates. They are the ones that create a strong locker room. Dennis, before we had also Temba. I don't just don't want to lose any name, but because basically this is a heritage. Now players that pass the heritage of the club and that its values to the new ones that arrive in the club. And obviously Rowan is an important one on that. It's always a reminder of the attitude that we need to have on representing this club, and that comes from for all of us, even for sometimes for us coaches. Um, as a player, he speaks for himself. Last year he got the award that he got, and he keeps sustaining performances, and he will for sure in the future continue to do it. So we feel very happy for that. Regarding the position of the club, for me myself as a coach, it makes me happy. It means that we were able to help the club to keep the standard, and we arrived in the club, and throughout the season we were able to help the team to perform so that the club can be put among the best ones in the continent. And you know that we got one position up under the CAF ranking, but we have a lot of challenges ahead. We have to make good points this season on the Champions League so that we can get us in this as comfortable position as possible toward positioning for the qualifying for the next Club World Cup. And that's basically how we contribute to the club by the position we have as coaches. So we feel very, very proud to see the club being highlighted like that. And that's how I see it. Regarding individual awards, obviously that we always stay happy with individual awards, being whoever, but we always take them as a consequence of the collective work that we do every day. That is the most important thing, because usually if the teams perform, the players will be highlighted. One day one, another day another day another, but in the end there will be a lot of promotion that will become individual, because it's like it is when the team performs. So we should focus always on the team performance. So naturally there will be men of the match, there will be the best in the pitch, there will be a lot of individual appraisals, because it's as a consequence, of course.
Just in recognition, thank you, Sugar, for joining us. And thank you, Coach and Grant, for your presence.
Thank you very much for your questions that were very interesting to answer to.
Thank you, Mamelodi Media.